welcome to A Lost Cause. I'm Shawna.
And I'm Annie.
Today is a very special day.
Kind of melancholy.
Because we have to go back to the very beginning. So as we explained last week, when we first started this podcast, we actually were recording it with audio. It was just an audio recording, and so the first few episodes, aren't kind of videos like we have now. So we are going to go back and kind of like Desmond, just sort of...
Like turn the wheel,
Turn the wheel, go back in our consciousness to the very beginning of this podcast. And
yeah.
So in a way, this is like the end and the beginning.
Oh, that's deep. Whoa!
We are back in 2025 to talk about Jack Shephard.
And first of all, what's going on with these clothes?
Yeah, it's kind of 70s style, hey?
That doesn't seem very like me.
And your
the
hair,
bangs,
like your hair is all like...
Like, I guess I must have gone through with all the lost women with their bangs.
Yeah, I guess you gave in to the peer pressure.
I guess so. Weird.
Well, it's just hard to understand these changes, but here we are. Today we're talking about two characters, really two main characters of Lost.
The two main characters.
Yes, so that's why we had to sort of go back and include them. Jack Shephard and Kate Austen.
Right.
So let's start with everybody's favorite character, Jack Shephard.
So Jack is pretty much considered the protagonist of the story.
That's right.
He boarded Oceanic Flight 815 because his dad died, and he's bringing his body back to LA, right?
That's right, yeah.
Right. And so he gets on the island. Lots of people are injured. Lots of people died. And because he's a surgeon, he's a spinal surgeon, but he's a doctor, he just jumps right into helping people. Boone kind of tags along, and he saves someone's life, and then helps Claire. And really, once we start watching, we're just kind of like, oh, who is this guy? Like, who is this hero?
Yes.
So that's how we're kind of introduced to him. And then, as they get more comfortable on the island, Jack starts seeing not visions, but like he starts seeing his quite dead father walking on the island.
Just walking around. Yeah.
So that's kind of our introduction to Jack Shephard.
Mm-hmm. And one thing you learn pretty quickly about Jack is that he is the leader.
He is the leader. He steps in. He has his "if we can't live together, we're gonna die alone" speech. And I mean, I found him really annoying.
Yeah.
So let's talk about very irritating.
Yeah, your first impressions of Jack, and when did you kind of start to dislike him? Because I know for you it was a real struggle your first watch. With Jack, which is a problem, right? Because he's like the main character.
Yes.
So if you don't like Jack...
Well, it's okay if you don't like Jack because there's just like so many characters. And, some people might even say, well, maybe Jack isn't the main character because there are so many people with like, flashbacks and stuff like that. But
it's a very much a supporting cast, but I think we'd have to agree that, Jack Shephard is, like you said, the protagonist.
I don't really remember the first time I watched it. Like,
I think this whole leader thing, it's sort of like Jack is always complaining as though this role of being the leader has been thrust upon him, but it wasn't. Like, it's very much a self-appointed leader, and has to sort of fix everything, right? That's kind of his fatal flaw.
Yes, that is very... I mean, he has to fix things until he doesn't.
Yeah.
In season 5.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, so all throughout the Lost, I was kind of like, whatever, he's not really my cup of tea. I didn't have anything like, he really frustrated me at times when he's so clearly in the wrong. But I really did start to get mad at him in season 5 because, I mean, as much as it annoys me, his fix-it Felix persona has kind of, like, helped the development of the show. But once we hit season 5, there's some major roadblocks. There's the time travel thing. Ben gets shot. He's very obviously in need of, like, a surgeon. And all of a sudden, Jack backs away and is like, we can't help. Like, we just have to let the island do what its thing. And I didn't like that, you know? Obviously, it all turns out. And then he does that again with and then he changes his mind in the incident.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, season 5 Jack really annoyed me. Also, his crash out, the beard. Just, like, can we stop giving characters beards? I feel like Jack's the only one who kind of went through that. Maybe Lapidus, too. But
it is a signal for sure that, like, he's crashing out.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we call him, Crash Out Jack, and his big, like...
Well, don't worry. We'll get to your list of Jacks. But,
oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about how Jack undergoes this major transformation. So, you know, the first 5 seasons... That's his thing. He's got to fix everybody.
And his major, like, goal is to get everyone off the island.
Right. And he keeps saying, you know, like, oh, everybody is looking to me to get them off this island. And so then we have this struggle between him and John Locke. And it's set up very nicely, you know, at the beginning of season 2, kind of as, like, the man of faith and the man of science, right? And so just maybe explain the difference there.
So, man of faith, they don't ever really openly talk about Christianity. But we think that it is a metaphor.
Yes.
For, you know, Christianity, evolution versus God, that kind of thing.
And just the idea of, like, there's a plan, there's a destiny, this is something I'm meant to do, something I'm supposed to do. And so that is very much represented through John Locke. Like, John Locke believes that he's got a mission,
and that really starts with the hatch.
The hatch. Yeah.
Which John Locke and Boone find. And John Locke is just like, we have to open it. Like, this is why we were brought to this island, to open up this hatch. It was a great storyline. It was so good. But...
and then that continues, right, in terms of pushing the button.
I mean, nobody knows until Boone dies, right?
Right.
Until Boone gets injured, and Jack is just kind of like, what the heck is going on here? Like, you haven't been telling me about this at all. And keep in mind, Jack is, like, juggling with Kate's shenanigans with the guns. Sawyer is being annoying. Food is a big problem. Like, whose is this? Clothes, all that stuff. He's juggling all this stuff.
The smoke monster, the others.
And all John Locke has been doing, while he's supposed to be hunting, by the way. Like,
right.
I didn't like that either, because it's like, well, yeah, but they're not getting anything to eat.
Yeah.
Is fooling around with this hatch. So if you look at it from Jack's perspective, he has every right to not want to open the hatch. He already has enough on his plate.
Yes, but, like, so for the first 5 seasons, Jack is sort of, he's like a non-believer, right? He doesn't believe they have to push the button. He doesn't believe in destiny. He's very much really scoffing at John Locke. Because he is a man of science. And
I mean, he's a doctor. That's what he was raised with.
That's his background, and, you know, his only mission is to get everybody off the island. And it goes, like, catastrophically wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, that's why it's 6 seasons long. You think they're gonna get rescued. I mean, and when I was watching it for the first time, it was like, oh, yeah, I hope they get off. But then I knew, there's 6 seasons. They're not getting off of this island.
But that's what's so shocking, though. Is it the end of season 3 or 4?
Yeah, season 4.
That they do get off the island, or some of them do. 6 of them do.
6 of, like, how many people on that plane?
Yeah. And so
it's not great.
You know, so we have this sort of dichotomy, man of science, man of faith. John Locke just pleads with Jack, don't call the freighter.
And that's what made me so mad too, because like, I don't know about my first time watching through, but my second time for sure, I was like, I feel like most people are against the freighter because Ben is
Right.
against. I mean, no, they're for calling because Ben's against it.
Yeah.
But no, Ben and Locke were right.
They
were
were
right.
And they are vindicated, but that is why Jack undergoes this transformation, right? Because he gets back to the mainland. They have to tell this big lie. Only 6 of them get off.
6 of them, including a baby.
Including a baby. And for a while, you know, Jack is trying to make it work. He and Kate get engaged. They're kind of raising Aaron. But slowly and surely it just all falls apart. And then, you know, Jack ends up on a bridge. He's like taking painkillers. He's can't really tell the difference between what's real and what isn't.
Oh, and it's like it does make me laugh whenever we watch Crash Out Jack, but it's horrible.
So this brings us to sort of Jack Shephard's most famous line, you know, we have to go back. This coming from Jack, who like for the first, you know, several seasons of the show, all he wants is to get off of that island. He finally accomplishes that goal, and now he's saying that they have to go back. And so they do go back, and that's when we see kind of the different Jack, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and he does end up getting, you know, the 6 back on the plane, along with some other people who we call the Ajira Air people.
Yeah.
Because that's the plane they took, Ajira Air. And they get to the island, and an interesting amount of people, how many people? 5 people?
Mm-hmm.
End up actually going back to the 70s.
Time.
Yeah. Which is my favorite storyline.
Yeah, so it's great when they go back, actually.
Yeah.
Except they
For
ruin,
one episode.
They ruin everything, though.
Yeah. And it was so hard to watch it spinning out of control because it just seemed like it would be, you know, nice. Everything's so sunny and bright in Dharmaville,
Yeah.
and then it all just has to be ruined because Saeed got dropped off somewhere else, which they never explain why that happened.
It's true. Like, why are they so far apart from each other?
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, so that's kind of why we see the different versions of Jack.
And I don't know what it is that, like, he gets what he wants, right? He gets to go back, and now he's like, nope, I'm not changing a single thing. I'm just sitting back, relaxing.
But it's because he's not in that mode anymore of like, I'm gonna fix things. So in a way it's progress for Jack, right? Because he's sort of like, maybe John Locke was right. There's some sort of purpose for me to come back. I'm not sure what it is. And he gets it wrong. You know, then he ends up thinking his purpose is to detonate this bomb and like prevent the incident, prevent the crash.
Yes, and the incident wouldn't have happened unless, because like, they shoot young Ben. Everybody's freaking out because Sawyer and Juliet essentially have to betray their people to save this kid. And then, you know, they get caught. They get found out. Jack and Kate and Daniel, they get found out. And, like, none of that would have happened probably if Jack had just done the operation. Because then there wouldn't have to be any of that conflict.
And, like, the old Jack would have. Like, he wouldn't have been able to resist saving someone. But I guess at this point he's like, I've saved Ben Linus's life once before. I'm not doing it again. And so, but the problem is, like, he's really very much just kind of has no direction, right?
Yes.
Because he's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here, but I don't really know why.
And exactly. And it's like, well, what if you're supposed to be here to save Ben Linus and prevent him from becoming Ben Linus, you know? Because that's what would have happened.
But we don't, and so he inadvertently kind of causes the incident. But it just, again, highlights another characteristic of Jack is that he's kind of like really smart and really dumb at the same time. Obviously very intelligent. He's this surgeon, well-educated. But I think it's kind of his stubbornness that can make him be. So what are some examples of like Jack being dumb.
Okay, here's a good one. Everybody's favorite episode, the appendicitis
Yes,
one.
the appendicitis one, yeah.
When Juliet does the operation to, what is it? She removes his
removes
appendix,
it,
right? Yeah. And he needs to rest. He needs to take care of his body that, you know, could have died had she not performed this surgery. Mm-hmm. What does he do? He goes trekking out, and he goes... This is in the finale of season 4, which really is so painful for me because there's so much going on, so much confusion. And then, his stitches start to bleed, and I think they even get infected.
Yeah.
And
because he didn't listen.
Because he didn't listen and because he didn't just rest. Obviously, it's bad timing, too, for that to have happened then, but still.
But this is a quality that, and we'll talk about her in a few moments, that he shares with Kate, right? They're both very stubborn. So that's definitely one example. Another thing, I think, sort of an annoying characteristic of Jack is his inability to let go of things. So, for example, his marriage, it's over.
And then
can't let it go. You know, he's sort of stalking.
And then
his
isn't
ex-wife.
there that deleted scene where the little girl is like, you have to let go, Jack? What?
Yeah.
Pause. What?
So it is. I mean, I would agree that Jack is a very flawed character. He can be very annoying, which is difficult because we're supposed to be on his side and we're supposed to be relating to him. But he can be very frustrating. But by the end of kind of the whole arc, I think he has learned, to let go. And that's kind of, we talk about that the island has a reason for everybody being there. The island's not done with you.
Yes.
And one of the things that the island wanted to accomplish in Jack is just to help him to let go. And that's another thing that he and John Locke have in common, too. They both have trouble letting go of things. Before we move on to Kate, let's talk a little bit about another kind of power struggle on the show, which is between Jack and Sawyer. Let's talk a bit about their relationship.
Right. Yeah, so everybody's favorite thing, the love triangle.
Yeah.
Ooh,
it's sort of like, are you Team Jack or Team Sawyer?
Why does every show have to revolve around some romance? And the love triangle just really makes me mad because I was Team Jack, I think, from the start.
Yeah, because Sawyer's very unlikable at first.
And then, you realize, oh, he's misunderstood. She's the only one who understands him or whatever. But towards the end, we see him with Juliet, which is just
the best.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. That was a gift to the fans. And then you don't want Juliet to go back with, Kate to go back with Sawyer.
Well, it's interesting because you think the whole thrust of the show is going to be, who does Kate end up with, right? Is it Jack or is it Sawyer? And then they introduce Juliet as kind of a potential rival to Kate. But then somehow, unexpectedly, it ends up being Sawyer and Juliet, and it's just perfect.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect, but it was so temporary.
Yeah.
Because then she dies.
Well, they had 3 years together,
and they didn't,
I guess.
Yeah,
we don't see.
And they didn't revisit that. I'm very glad that they didn't, revisit the Kate-Sawyer romance. I think they tried to, but I just blocked it out of my mind.
I know. I think some people wonder, okay, well, they both, survive and go back together. Maybe something happens, but
no.
I don't think so. I think they both kind of realize it just isn't going to work.
And then at the end, yes, it does. I do think Kate and Jack. And that's another thing too, because I'm just mad that they made Kate kind of stupid, because why? She was engaged to Jack.
Yeah.
Why would she still want to go back to Sawyer? It doesn't make any sense to me, and it just doesn't make. It's not very realistic. No real person would be like that.
Well, and I think they sort of try to change the story on us, which is kind of a trick, because it's pretty clear that Kate really does love Jack. She's got a connection to Sawyer, But really, like, the show is her just kind of using Sawyer.
Yes.
Like, to feel better, to make Jack jealous. Like, and the problem is that Sawyer really loves Kate. So that's, I think, more of then that becomes its own triangle, that Juliet is sort of like, are you with me just because you couldn't be with her?
No, and I hate that. Yeah. I want him to say, no, you're the only one.
But she is the only one. And, like, Sawyer makes that clear, that he's helping Ben because Juliet wants him to.
Yes.
And he was going to, ask her to marry him.
I know. This is what this stupid show does to me.
Yeah. So before we say goodbye to Jack, do you want to share
my list?
Your list?
And then my hot take?
Yes.
Right. Also, whoa, like, new phone. What's this all about?
Yeah,
I'm only used to my iPhone 7.
Where'd you get that new phone? Boy, like, how did you ever pay for it?
Okay, my favorite Jacks. No, my favorite Ryer.
Oh, you didn't correct it.
Just so many mistakes. 1, depressed Jack. 2, long hair Jack. Oh yeah, long hair Jack. 3, piano Jack. 4, football Jack.
Oh, yes, that is a good scene.
5, sad Jack.
Okay, and so that would be...
6, vacation Jack. 7, angry Jack. 8, leader Jack. 9, fate Jack. 10, happy Jack. 11, appendicitis Jack.
So is depressed Jack, like, basically crash out
I guess
Jack?
so. I don't really know why it's not. I'll fix that later.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I think we're supposed to think of Jack as like, well, he's the normal one, right? Like, he's the one we can all relate to. He's the successful doctor. But he's a mess. Like, he's just a total mess. He can't make any of his relationships work. And this isn't the first time he kind of crashes out. Like, because that whole vacation Jack, that's a bit of a crash out too, right? That he's sort of running away from the world, goes off to Thailand, gets this tattoo, like...
I hate that episode so much. I'm crying.
But in the end, I think we are legitimately moved, by Jack's heroic fight to the death with the man in black. He, becomes the new Jacob, and kind of sacrifices himself for the island. And I think, like, what people often overlook is sort of that moment where, Jack is back where it all started, right? That's where the series begins, is Jack lying on the ground, opening his eyes. But now these are the final moments of his life.
And it's beautiful.
And it's really beautiful.
Poetic.
He sees the plane go by, knowing that, his friends lifted off.
And Vincent comes and
Vincent's there with him.
I'm crying. I sobbed for, like, days on end after that ending.
And even though it's a tragic end, we see that Jack is finally at peace, right? He's been able to let go of things. He's found his purpose, and he actually dies with that
and
peace.
He dies a hero.
And I don't know why so many people dislike the finale, because that's sort of what makes it okay. It's like, yeah, all these people die, Jack dies, but then we see them in the afterlife, right? And we see that they get reunited. Jack reconciles with Locke. He ends up with Kate at the church. He talks to his dad. So that's why I don't really know why people don't. I think it's just they don't like the spirituality of it, maybe.
Are we ready for my hot take?
Yeah, let's have your hot take about Jack. So
my hot take is that Jack almost never made the right decision. Let me elaborate. Jack almost never made the right decision because, in season 2, it was his decision to not push the button. Like, he was going against pushing the button, which we found out.
Mistake.
Big mistake. And then in season 3, what's season 3? Calling the freighter is the big thing? Yeah, and he does that. He calls the freighter.
That's the biggest mistake of all.
That's the biggest mistake of all, because then all these genuine murderers.
It's true. Like, a lot of people die as a result of that decision.
So many people die.
And Locke and Ben told him
our
that would happen.
beloved Alex,
Yeah.
bring her back, please.
And,
I'm
like,
never getting
even
over that.
Charlie died kind of trying to, like, communicate, you know, not Penny's boat.
Yes, exactly. And, like, Charlie's death was a message to not call the boat. And so then, therefore, his death kind of isn't
It didn't accomplish anything.
Like, it didn't, there was no purpose to it because they just called the freighter anyways.
Well, and that's why Hurley and Claire follow Locke, right?
Yes, and then, you know, Locke is kind of seen as this bad guy in this arc, but, like, in reality, no, like, he saved their lives. He saved their lives. And, yeah, it just really makes me mad. And then in season 5, of course, him not saving Ben, and then, like, deciding that the incident needs to happen resulted in Juliet's death, which wasn't necessary, in my opinion. And then in season 6, not giving Saeed the pill.
Right.
Which would have killed him, which would have stopped this infection from growing. And then after that, he kind of redeems himself because of...
And I think he finally learns to listen. Like,
Yes.
he listens to Jacob, and he does what Jacob tells him to do, which doesn't make any sense at the time, right? Pulling this plug out of the heart of the island, like, putting it back. But that was what was necessary. And he finally just does it, right? And he trusts in someone else's ability to kind of give direction instead of always having to be in control, always having to be the one that decides what to do and does it.
Yeah. So that's my hot take.
Very good. Well, R.I.P. Jack Shephard.
We loved to laugh at you.
And now, so this episode is called Kate, We Have to Go Back, because it's about Jack and Kate, and we're kind of combining the two. They both deserve their own episode,
but we don't have the time. We have to get on to our next
we've
podcast.
already, recorded 2 separate podcasts about them. So let's talk about Kate. Definitely one of the most important characters on the show.
For sure, I think she's the main female protagonist.
Yeah. Well, and
For
originally,
yeah, she was supposed to be the main character, and Jack was supposed to die in the first episode.
Yeah.
I kind of would like to see that. Like,
well, if he was supposed to be played by Michael Keaton, and he was gonna die the first episode.
like that is something that I'd want to see.
Yeah.
And then Kate, becomes the leader or whatever. But she, Evangeline Lilly as the actress, just didn't feel like she was ready enough for that.
No, she'd only been on like commercials before
She's
then.
Canadian.
Yeah.
We love to see a Canadian make it out there.
That's right. Actually, and on the Getting Lost documentary, she talks about, how she was not going to be able to take the part unless her visa came through in time, like for her to actually get to be in this, in the States. So.
And do we know where she's from in Canada?
I want to say BC, but I don't know if that's right.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that might not be correct.
So tell us a little bit about Kate's backstory.
Kate's backstory is pretty dark.
Yeah.
She, well, that's going to be too obvious to my hot take. But she is on the run from the police because she killed her abusive father. Her father was abusing her mom.
And she thinks of him as her stepfather.
Yes.
Yeah, but he is actually
yeah.
her biological dad.
And so she was done with him, so she blows him up, as one does.
And so her mom could get the insurance money was kind of the idea, and to be free of him.
Yes. But then she goes and tells her mom, she's like, Mom, I did this thing, I made it look like an accident. And then what does her mom do? She calls the police on her, and then Kate has to run, and she does a lot of running. I really like this one. No, maybe I just thought of it. But anyways, The Bolter by Taylor Swift, her song, 100%.
Yeah, very good. Although Kate's music of choice is?
Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline, yeah.
Yeah. And lucky for her, they have lots of that on the island.
Turns out there's Patsy Cline vinyls on the island.
I think that there is some Dharma recruit that like runs a little record shop in their house, and they get all the records from the mainland, and then you can go and buy them.
It would have to be. There'd have to be someone, either they go and bring them back or they order them in somehow, but maybe.
Anyways, we're getting very off track.
Yes.
So that's her story, and fun fact, our first Kate flashback, her code name is Annie, which is cool.
Yeah. And so Kate is actually in custody of a federal marshal.
When she's on the plane, she's actually handcuffed.
Yeah.
And then, like, to get out, the marshal dies. Right? Or does he die? He doesn't die.
Well, eventually.
But he's unconscious or something beside her, and she grabs the key, uncuffs herself, and bolts, as usual.
Yeah.
And then she actually does end up getting very, very involved with the main adventures and plot lines, which actually kind of surprised me, because I feel like if you're on the run, you want to stay low. You don't want to,
But that's the thing about Kate, though. Like, she does need to help people. So the way that Jack needs to fix people, she really needs to help them, and that's why she did what she did anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like, she was trying to help her mom.
She really did think it was going to help. So I think in that way, she's justified. Like, and no one looks back on that mistake.
Well, because as people get to know Kate, like,
there's more to her.
She's a good person. Like, she's a complicated character, but she's definitely very brave, very kind, compassionate, willing to sort of risk her own well-being for the good of others. So that's the great thing about Lost. I mean, even though it's got the symbolism of sort of the black and white and good versus evil,
there's so much gray.
As far as the characters, it's very gray. Yeah. And all about redemption.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked a little bit already about kind of the love triangle, so I don't think we really need to revisit that. But let's talk about a very controversial decision that Kate makes when they get off the island, the Oceanic Six. What does she do?
She actually decides to raise Aaron as her own.
And pretends that he is her baby.
Yes. So Shawna leans towards thinking that Kate should have just given Aaron to the grandma. And yes, I think that would be probably the wisest decision, but Kate was very lonely.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not actually that much of a bad thing that she did. Especially because the mom was living in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So...
But there was an opportunity, though. Like,
yes,
at Jack's dad's funeral, the funeral they finally have, they meet her, and, Jack realizes...
they were she was his sister.
Yeah, Claire is his half-sister, and this is Aaron's grandmother. Kate, meanwhile, is still facing these criminal charges.
Yes, actually, that's such a good point, because she does have to go back to the law.
It's very hard to say, like,
with this,
it's best for Aaron to be raised by me.
6-month-old baby.
Yeah. Although I think that is sort of why her mom changes her mind. Like, it makes her more sympathetic kind of to the jury. But also, like, so remember Annie said that Kate's mom actually turned her in and wouldn't forgive Kate for killing the man she loved, even though he was abusive. Like, she loved him and didn't want him to die. And so she keeps turning Kate in, like, over and over again. But she's the prosecution's star witness, right? And then when she sees Kate after thinking that she died in the plane crash, and this little boy that she believes is her grandson, which is actually no relation to her at all, she decides...
She should have just said, the mom died on the island, I'm taking care of this baby now. Like, really, that's really what she should have said.
Yes, but right. But then...
Because what was the big deal about it? Oh, because they might take the baby into foster care?
But the thing is, though, like, what's so bad about Claire's mom raising Aaron?
I know, but, like, if she wanted to keep Aaron, I really just think she should have said, this baby isn't mine. The mom died on the island. I've been raising him ever since.
Yeah, and I'm going to adopt him. Yeah.
Yeah, that would just work so much better than lying.
But then the lie did probably help Kate get out of those charges.
Yeah.
Because that's why her mom decides not to testify. But yeah, I think it's hard to justify that decision. I mean, I don't blame Kate for taking Aaron off the island like Claire does, right? For a while.
Because, like, that baby would not make it on the island with the time jumps and stuff.
No, exactly. And, I mean, Claire was, like, off in the cabin, right, with the man in black. So what were they supposed to do?
Exactly.
But I think it was not good for her to lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always a little bit of tea when it comes to, you know, there's the on-screen romances, but then there's the off-screen romances. And so who was Evangeline Lilly romantically linked to during the show?
Dominic Monaghan. Man, I sure hope I get to meet him and other specific cast members this coming year.
Wouldn't it be great? I mean, like last year, not that long ago, we went to Calgary and you got to meet Dr. Marvin Candle.
And I got to meet Roger.
Yeah. So who knows what the guest will be in Calgary this year?
I mean, if they even have any good guests, like what if they just have weird guests?
Yeah.
Like weird and bad guests, like that would make me scream.
Yeah, exactly. So just the best would be if we could have 2, maybe 3 cast members from Lost.
3 is pushing it, Shawna.
I know, but, you know, dream big, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, a lot of people think that's why Dominic Monaghan left the show when he did. It was a bad breakup from his perspective. He kind of got his heart broken. So, yeah, it's kind of tough. But they obviously found it, you know, not too bad to work together because Charlie does come back and actually has a big scene with Kate on the finale. And then there's also the Lord of the Rings connection with Lost. A couple ways.
Like, when do we introduce my big map of the connections? I mean the one I'm going to make soon.
Yeah. So what are the 2 connections?
So, like, Lord of the Rings and Lost. Once again, it would be really great if there was, like, Calgary panels about Lord of the Rings and Lost. Like, that would just be the dream.
Well, yeah.
But that's never going to happen. And so, obviously, Charlie is Merry in Lord of the Rings. But the Hobbit, Kate's in it.
Yes. Toriel, yeah. Who is kind of a controversial character because she's made up.
You know what, though? So's the Tooth Fairy. Really makes you think.
Well, there was a mic drop moment, so maybe that should be a new feature of our podcast. And, you know, we do also have to add that Evangeline Lilly just really gives a great interview in the Getting Lost documentary.
Oh, she was amazing in the Getting Lost documentary.
Yeah, made me
and she looked so good, too, and she had that Wonder Woman belt.
Yeah, really made me like her. And
another thing is, she's on Smallville. She has no lines. She's just a pretty girl that some guy is with.
See, well, that would bolster my theory she's from BC, because I'm pretty sure that was filmed in Vancouver, right? So
don't look at me. Like, I was just there for that one scene.
All right, so let's talk about, you know what we should do in the future podcast episodes is have, like, something called a shout-out. But I guess we'll save that for later, for down the road. I just thought of it now. But instead, let's do our best and worst Kate moments.
Oh, I don't have a list.
No, but just like thinking about it right now.
Oh, right.
What would you say are kind of her best and worst moments?
Well, her worst moments are best moments I think is actually, she's really good in the Dharma Initiative. I really love that she's, you know, trying to do what's right. You know, she tries to save Ben. She tries to go against blowing up a nuke.
But what's up with her and Roger, though? Like, what's up with that?
That's kind of catchy. Maybe we should make that a segment.
That would be a good segment, too. Well,
but it's too bad we don't have any clips of, like, a weird niche character from the show saying that. It's like, what's up with that?
But what is up with her and Roger? There's a weird vibe going on there.
So this is once again my kind of, when I was first watching Lord of the Rings, I was like, you know what? I think that Eowyn and Gimli, they're gonna be a thing. Like they're gonna be a thing. And so it's the same here. Roger and Kate
this just speaks to
are happening.
Annie being a 4 on the Enneagram and having always a unique perspective that like she actually ships Eowyn and Gimli. Like, so, you know, it's supposed to be like, oh, Aragorn, Arwen, Eowyn. Like, that's the love triangle. Gimli does not enter the picture at all, but yeah, she ships them.
And, it's the same with Roger and Kate.
And, yeah, Roger and Kate. Yeah, because maybe Ben would have turned out a little bit better.
Can you imagine?
Kate was
Because
his
she
mom.
obviously really wants to be a mom. Like,
But doesn't it really say a lot about Kate that, I mean, after everything Ben Linus has put her through and done to her, that she goes to such lengths to save his life?
well, yeah. But,
Same as Juliet. But I think...
very much Juliet. Like,
yeah.
she's just a hero. Juliet is.
And for me, I think, like a really good moment for Kate, I do love just her and Jack finally getting together, like, and the kiss they have when she says goodbye to him is pretty great. But unfortunately, Kate at her worst, I think, for me, would be the way that she treats Jack and Sawyer. And
Mine would be, like that scene when, like, in the morning when she's just leaving Sawyer, and he's like, well, yeah, you go for it. You're going to be mad at him anyways and come back to me, and, like,
yeah.
He's so right, but she's mad about that.
And that's the sad thing, is that Sawyer sees through it all, knows that she's just using him, but is like, go ahead and use me. You know,
Yes.
I'll take what I can get.
It's so sad, but don't worry, buddy. Someone better for you is
Yeah,
coming.
will truly love you and want to be with you. So, okay, and so right on time.
Yes, this hot take is so good, and I've been hyping it up the entire single podcast, I guess. This is the best hot take that I've ever made. I still stand by that.
And so we are ending our podcast on this note.
If you hate Ben Linus, you have to hate Kate. Because every objectively wrong thing that he's done, Kate has done too. Let that sink in. Let's just think about some things.
What do you mean, Annie?
Let's just think about some things that you might be mad at Ben for. Some people say, oh, well, Ben did the purge. No, he was a workman in the Dharma Initiative. He had nothing to do with the purge.
Well, he participated.
He just was smart enough to not die. The only life he took was his father's. Is that ringing a bell to you? Because that's ringing a bell to me. Because I think I remember Kate Austen blowing up her dad.
Yes. So there's one example. Do you have any others?
I do indeed. Everybody is like, you know, we love Alex. We love Alex so much, in fact, that we love her so much. And everybody's like, oh, well, I want her to go back with Rousseau, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Ben was wrong to kidnap her.
You're so right. But guess who else got kidnapped? Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron got kidnapped from Kate. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody cares. So I rest my case. That's my case.
So basically, they both killed their dad. And
they both kidnapped, and I think
a
I
baby
have.
and pretended that.
I
the
think
baby
I
was
have
theirs.
another example, but I don't remember it because it's not in my mind right now.
Well,
So-
and like the lying, right? Like Kate lies a lot, and that's another thing that we say against Ben.
And she emotionally manipulates too. Like
Very,
that's
yeah.
another thing that's like, oh, you shouldn't do that.
She does use people, actually. Yeah, quite a lot. To accomplish what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it's always like justified with her, right? Well, I'm doing it so that I can, whatever, get back to Claire, or I'm doing it so that I've got to find out from Miles if they know about me.
Well, Ben always did everything for the island, even letting his daughter die. By the way, don't let that happen to me.
Okay.
Like, Dad, if you're watching this, don't let me die for an island.
Okay, we won't.
But yeah.
I have to say that is a very good hot take.
It's so good.
And I think a really good way to end off this podcast. So, a
So,
little bit
yeah.
bittersweet.
So
But
we'll say goodbye to our perfume.
our sponsor,
Juliet has a gun.
yeah.
Say goodbye to Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him so much.
Our polar bear mascot.
Mm-hmm.
But this might not be goodbye because, like Annie's talking about, obviously it's so early in the year they haven't announced next year's lineup.
There's just no way we can know.
But if there are like enough lost people, then surely we'll have to do a recap episode and talk about that. But
Yeah.
who knows? Because it's like I'm not Desmond. I can't see the future.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good though if Desmond was at the con. Like,
Can you imagine?
That would be so great.
It would almost be as good as if, I don't know, Sawyer was there.
Sawyer and Desmond.
And Charlie.
Wow.
Yeah, right. As if.
Dream on.
Dream on.
And so,
Wait, weren't we gonna say something else?
we often say, see you in another life, but
Or no.
we will see you in another podcast.
Oh,
because,
there we go. There we go. Now
Because,
she's catching on.
This is the end of our Lost podcast. But Annie and I can't stop talking about TV shows we love that no one else cares about. So we will have...
So true.
We must have another podcast about another show. And what is it?
I don't know. If only there's like some weird, conveniently placed like Easter egg in the background, but I don't see anything.
Who knows what shows Annie will discover and become obsessed with in the coming months. But I expect that we will be doing another podcast in the future.
Yeah.
And so, for the
Aw,
last time,
I'm sad.
maybe I'm sad too. But, hopefully we will have that recap episode, and this isn't really the end.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, namaste.
And see you in another life. Goodbye.
Bye.